thank God we have premiers like Danielle Smith who are standing up to Justin Trudeau. And I want you to see this.
Be going to the Council of the Federation this week, because I can tell you the thing that has surprised me the most is it doesn't matter what political stripe the premiers have, every single one of them is frustrated with federal interference into their business. I would like for the federal government to focus on their areas of jurisdiction and do it well. How about we see them address the issue of out-of-control monetary policy so that we don't have an inflation crisis any longer? How about they meet their commitments internationally on defense spending so that we can continue to be part a full partner in the NATO alliance? How about they manage our passport offices and our airports and our port system? And how about they support Indigenous health so that we're dealing with the opioid crisis? They've got lots on their plate in their areas of jurisdiction. They should stop trying to interfere in ours, and they should start doing their job, is my view. And I think all the other premiers feel the same. So I've pushed back. I've seen Saskatchewan push back, and I think you'll see increasingly the other provinces will push back as well. Well, I'll tell you what I noticed when the Prime Minister did his communique is he didn't push any of those three issues, and which says to me that they are open-minded, and they have heard the message loud and clear that an emissions cap that is aggressive is a production cap and it's a violation of the Constitution. The same for net zero electricity regs that are too aggressive. Electricity is also in our constitutional jurisdiction. So here's my view.
You know, and Danielle Smith is fortunately standing up against Trudeau's radical extremist climate change agenda. And she's saying, we're not going to do this by 2035. This is absolutely ridiculous. But even to say that it's going to happen by 2050 is obscenely optimistic and completely unnecessary, because we are not going to be a world or a country run on green energy by that time either. Danielle Smith is clearly buying some time here, but it's vital that we get over this, because God only knows how the mindset's going to be in 2035. People are going to realize by that point there is no climate change catastrophe crisis that's going to cause the end of the world. So 2050 won't be viable either. And I think this is where she's going with this. I think she's saying, look, if we can buy some time now, another 12 years, we're not going to be looking at 2050 either, because by that time, by 2035, people are going to realize that it's not even essential that we do so, that it's not viable, not possible, and not something that Canada needs to do. So I think it's wise. She knows right now, if you just say it's never going to happen, they're going to just call her a climate change denier, and there's nothing worse you can be called today. Except perhaps a racist or something like that. And that is the one thing she doesn't want to get caught up on, is being called a climate change. So I think that's what she's doing here, and it's probably a very wise strategy.
Is that if we are able to demonstrate in good faith that we are working towards those targets in a meaningful way, I think the courts will side with us. I hope it doesn't go to the courts, but if it does, then I think we're going to win that one. I do always try to find areas of common ground. I must tell you that the other Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau, he just wanted to steal our wealth. He didn't want to extinguish it. And so that's the reason why I can understand why people lack trust. The way that this current Prime Minister has acted towards our province over the last number of years has not been constructive. And so I wanted to demonstrate by meeting him partway, saying we'll align with a 2050 target, but he's got to meet us partway as well and do it in a way that's reasonable and that works for our economy. And that's why we've formed the working group. As I said, we're going to work in good faith to try to get there, and if we don't, then we're just not going to do anything that is going to damage our economy or give any indication that our oil and natural gas sector is going to be phased out. We're working on reducing emissions, not reducing jobs in the energy sector. I think this would play out. We will assert that we are going to meet our targets under our emissions reduction and energy development plan, and they can take us to court if they want. But I think that what will happen is we will demonstrate to the court that what we're doing is reasonable, it's in alignment with federal policy, it's in our areas of constitutional jurisdiction, and I don't think they'll have a leg to stand on.
So clearly, you know, this is very smart policy here. And there's a bit of a game going on, but when you're dealing with Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, you sometimes have to play their game. And I think that's what she's doing here, knowing full well that the climate crisis is going to blow over. It really is. People, and I don't even believe the average Canadian is really that obsessed with the climate change crisis. Do they go to bed at night worrying about global warming? No. Or the fact that there's more forest fires and it's supposedly as a result of climate change? No, they don't. They're concerned about forest fires. But people are no longer convinced that every environmental ill is directly a result of climate change. It's just not going over anymore. So I think that's, I think that's extremely important to recognize that. I'm always going to be frank and as courageous as I can be in addressing these issues, because politicians in this day and age are largely craven cowards. I know it's a bit of, but they are. They are afraid to say anything that is going to offend anybody except those who don't complain. And it's people like you who don't complain enough. They can tread on your rights. They can tell you that your opinions don't matter. And you'll probably take it. But it's time to fight back. It's time to resolve to resist. And that's what we need to do in this country. And that's what we're going to continue to do in the station. So I want to thank you for listening today. Thank you for watching today. I think we've got the information here that people who watch the nightly news aren't necessarily getting. And that's the point. And that's my goal, is to give you that information. So for Krayden's Right, from Stand on Guard, I'm David Krayden, and I'm just happy to be able to talk to you again this week. And I'll be back again soon with more information. Thanks for watching.